A couple of months ago, I got an alert on my back camera that someone was in my backyard. I went outside and talked to him, and it turns out he had the wrong house, which was a relief, but it got me thinking, what if my cameras hadn't caught him? I mean, after all, I didn't get an alert until he was already in the backyard, which was a little too late in my opinion. So fast forward to now, and eufy ended up reaching out to me about reviewing their new C-Series cameras. So I decided to walk my property, figure out where my coverage was lacking the most around my house, and whether eufy's new lineup would actually work for what I needed. eufy did send me these cameras for review, but with all my review videos, my goal is to give you accurate and complete information so that you can make a decision that's right for you. Now, obviously the biggest gap was in the backyard, so I decided to place a camera on my playhouse in the backyard that's pointed at the house in order to capture the entire back area and the gates in the fence. For this spot, I went with the C37. The C37 is a pan and tilt camera with 360 degrees of coverage and AI tracking. And the AI tracking lets the camera detect things like people, pets, and even cars. It'll alert you about them and even physically follows what it sees when it detects it. A lot of cameras at this price point are stationary, which means you have to point them at a fixed area and hope whatever happens in the frame where you've pointed the camera. With pan, tilt, and tracking, the camera can see the entire area instead of just a slice of it. Now with eufy, their AI tracking works really well too, even when there are objects in the way like this tree. This camera records in 2K resolution, and it means that you can see more details like license plates, faces, and even packages left at your door. It also has a spotlight that you can set to auto-activate when something moves, so if something happens at night, you can record in color footage with good detail and even deter people who might be there that shouldn't be. For power, the C37 camera has a solar panel and a built-in battery. The included panel is mounted separately from the camera and can be positioned where the sun actually hits it. So you can place both the camera and the solar panel in the best place for each, instead of having to compromise and choose between the best coverage over the best place for sun exposure. Now eufy specs say that just 2.5 hours of sun gets you a full day's worth of power, and after 3 days of active testing, including AI tracking events, I was still at 96% battery the last time I checked. In addition to cameras, part of eufy's new lineup includes the Homebase Mini. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a Mini to test with, so I ended up connecting all of my cameras to my Homebase 3 instead, so I could enable and test all the features like AI detection. A really cool thing about eufy's AI detection is that once the cameras are paired with the Homebase, they can recognize specific faces. These can detect and label people that you've programmed into the device, so you get alerts like Mark appeared or stranger appeared instead of just human detected, or even worse, motion detected, which we all know that means practically nothing. All of these features are included with the Homebase and all without charging a monthly fee. The only real downside I could find is that unlike other eufy cameras, the C37 doesn't have any internal storage on its own, which means that out of the box, it's a live view camera with alerts. So if you want it to record, you either need to install a micro SD card in the camera itself or pair it to the Homebase 3 or the Homebase Mini. So going to the other part of my property, another coverage gap I had was a bay window in my living room. So outside of these windows are bushes where someone could hide, and it's really a bad blind spot in general. So for this location, I ended up adding the C31. So the C31 is a wired camera and it records continuously, so it was a great fit for this spot. With continuous recording, you can have the before, the during, and the after footage of an event, and not just the event itself. The C31 does pure color night vision too, in addition to infrared and spotlight modes. Pure color is a technology that lets the camera still pick up and record in color, even in really low light conditions, which is great for picking out subtle details. Now, like the C37, the C31 is also a pan tilt camera that has 360 degrees of rotation and 70 degrees of tilt. So even with that level of flexibility, though, I found that it still covered most of my living room with it just parked in one place. One thing to keep in mind with the C31 is that wherever you decide to put it, you do need to be within cable's reach of an outlet for power. So for my bay window scenario, I already had the power right there, so it worked out just fine. But if you're thinking about placing a C31 in another location, just be sure to scope out where the power is first before making a final decision. Now, even though the C31 is installed in my living room inside the house, it can be installed outside as well. A great place for this could be underneath an eave, because a lot of eaves, a lot of homes have power outlets tucked away up under the eave for Christmas lights. So if you're looking at placing this outside, that could be a great location. Another really cool feature with this camera specifically is that it has a detection for crying and loud noises. So the combination of continuous recording, cry detection, and color night vision makes it the perfect fit if you're looking for a camera for inside of a nursery. Now, the third gap I had was the garage. especially because my wife and I constantly worry if we accidentally left the garage door open, especially when we left the house. So the C35 out of these 3 cameras is the most flexible camera because it has battery power and can either be permanently mounted or it can be mounted to any metal surface with its built-in magnets inside of its base. And like the C31, it also has pure color night vision too, in addition to spotlight and infrared settings. So that means if you want something to keep an eye on your pets, you can see them in color without bothering them by turning on a spotlight. Like the C37 and the C31, the C35 also has the same level of AI detection through the Homebase. It's got an alarm and a light deterrent too, just like the other cameras, so you can set it up to trigger an alarm and flashlights if you want it. Now, the really cool thing about all these cameras together is that once they're all on the Homebase, they don't just work as 3 separate cameras, they work as one system. If someone walks across the yard, the C37 can pick them up. If they get out of range, another camera like the C31 can pick them up as well. It could be the same person, same recognition, and tracked across multiple cameras, and this can come in really handy if you have an event on your property. All the footage goes to the Homebase and it's stored locally as well, so you actually own it without being locked into a monthly subscription. Now, honestly, when eufy reached out to me about these cameras, what got me really excited wasn't as much of the feature list as it was the price points. The cameras are some of the most affordable ones I've tested, and the great thing is you don't have to compromise between coverage and your budget if you're looking for a quality camera solution. Honestly, after living with these cameras for a few weeks, I've already caught myself thinking about a few more places that having another camera would be nice to have, so I've added them to my list. Now at this point you might be wondering how these cameras stack up to the other eufy cameras I've had and reviewed, and honestly they hold their own. The AI, the night vision, the cross-camera handoff, these have quality features and there's no real trade-offs to speak of. Now if you do want things and features like 4K resolution, optical zoom, and other premium features, then obviously these aren't going to be the right choice for you, and that's okay. Everyone's needs are totally different. But for the property I've got and the gaps that I had, honestly, this is the setup I wish I had 3 months ago when I had that unexpected visitor. Now, as far as the price is concerned, I never put that information in the video itself because those prices tend to change quite a bit, but I do always put links in the video description below that will take you to a website that has the current best price, so be sure to check that out. If you found this video helpful, be sure to check out this other video next. I'm sure you'll like it too. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.